Okay, once again, you're looking at the cover for the movie Contagion, which I believe the movie Contagion was primarily the script for this hoax. And the theme, nothing spreads like fear. So once again, in the background, you're going to hear a lecturer at a major college in England talk about fear and viruses.
And cities would desert the cities in their droves, and they'd head to the hills or down to the beach where they thought they'd be safe from the virus. And the hallmark of this virus, again, is that it could drop into any household, no matter how clean, no matter how high.
Okay, use of words. It can drop into any household. It can drop into any household. Now, other lecturers will talk about it jumping. They'll talk about it evolving. All right? But the metaphor he's using is it will drop. Now, I want you to listen to what comes next.
Without warning, and carry off one of your kids. It wasn't only America that was paralysed with fear of polio. This, I think, is one of the most heartbreaking pictures in the archives of polio. This is a little girl from an outbreak in Israel in the late 40s, and she's in there in an adult-sized iron lung. And again, you know, the expression in her eyes tells you that she's totally confused by what's going on. Her chances of surviving.
Okay, most likely all the iron lung stuff was fake. Just like right now, everybody says, oh, we need more ventilators. Back in those days, it would have been, we need more iron lungs. Okay? So that's a scare tactic. Show a child in an iron lung, and I guarantee you will scare any mother in the 1950s. My mother was absolutely frightened about all of this as she was raising her family. These fearmongers got the best of my mother.
Living in the iron lung at that time, before they had widely available antibiotics for chest infections, before they knew the importance of keeping the patient's airway clear with good intensive care type nursing, if you went into the iron lung, you had about a 75% chance of dying in it. So this was not just a bit of medical kit, this was a tomb for nearly 3/4 of the patients who went into it. And the vision of a nightmare, I think, is really summed up rather grimly in this picture. This was the iron lung ward on Rhode Island when polio broke out there in the early 1950s. And again, inside each of these machines, there's someone.
Okay, once again, you just create a stage, you get people together, have them get in something that looks like they're calling an iron lung, which is just a prop. Then you take lots of photos, do some real footage, R-E-E-L, and pawn it off as real, R-E-A-L. And you will frighten any parent of that day and that hour and that time.
Effectively, it's fighting for their life. The machine is breathing for them. But again, back in those days, before the importance of all the ancillary things to keep the patient going were understood, the likelihood is that most of the people in that picture would have died. They did a survey in 1953 of what kept Americans awake at night. And top of it.
Okay, now, remember what I said earlier. This virus can drop into any home or household, regardless how spotless and immaculate it is kept. Drop.
The list, this was at the height of the Cold War, was of course the risk of nuclear annihilation. But second on the list, and only just below it, was polio. So we've got a disease that we were beginning to understand, if you like, that paralysed not just families but whole nations, that had no effective treatment. So this is where medicine did actually come galloping to the rescue. But this is not...
Okay, he basically had talked about a survey, and because I stopped it, I kind of missed it, but it's the atomic bomb. So it's linked to the idea of dropping an atomic bomb. That's number one on the fear list in the 50s. Number two is polio. And the metaphor he used in the lecture was drop into any household. So it's combining two fears together and comparing them, like somehow, unexpectedly, at any moment, at any time, an atomic bomb can strike America and kill millions of people. And at any time, at any moment, a hoax virus can be dropped into any household and kill lots of people. So anyhow, this is fear-mongering, and nothing spreads like fear. Thank you for watching.